a little bit about me. So, who am I? You know my name now. My name is Bhatia. I am a 2056 alumni. I graduated last year. I have been on this team for about 3 years, and now I attend the University of Toronto for engineering. I was a co-team captain when I was on the team. I was also the operator for our last season. I was also helping out with outreaches, helping design and manufacturing parts, and I was also the Dean's List semi-finalist in 2020. Outside of the team, I was also part of the first Canada Youth Council. I was a student council lead at Orchard Park, a homework club tutor, and also an IRI scholar this season. So, a little bit about my experience on 2056. So, my first season, I actually started in grade 9 for a bit. I, just like many of the students that you're going to see here, helped out with the Leaders to Inspire conference, where I would introduce a speaker, help direct people around the school if they needed any help. And even though grade 9 was like the first time I was on the team, I actually quit within like a couple months because I realized that this was way too much for me to do because I was way too nervous and I didn't feel like I brought anything to the table. Because again, I was a grade 9 student, it was a new high school, new people. I didn't feel like I had anything that I brought. Other people, you know, they were on these really cool robotics teams in elementary school, whereas my elementary school had a robotics program, but it was really small, and it didn't really teach me a lot. But again, like a lot of students, I was really nervous. But then I came back in grade 10, and I thought, you know what? I really want to go into engineering. And I thought, what clubs at Orchard Park can help me succeed in that and help me learn skills that will help me, you know, have a little bit of a head start compared to other people. And so that's why I joined robotics, because I really wanted to go into mechatronics engineering, which, if some of you don't know, is basically just robotics engineering. And so grade 10 came, super fun, helped out with a lot of outreaches, and then helped out with some abilities and stuff. But then, as soon as it came to our first competition, everything shut down because of the pandemic. So, I guess you could say I didn't have like the typical first season experience because I got to help out in everything, but I didn't actually get to go to any competitions. So, how did that make me feel? I was really excited. I was like, woohoo, you know, like my first competition, I actually get to see what everything's about. But then, I was also really curious because this was like my first actual season, I guess you could say, on the team, and I really wanted to learn more. And so things that I did was some field work, and then I also helped out with, I also did some scouting. So a lot of you students who are on the team right now will learn that scouting is a really important part of our team because it helps us collect a lot of interesting and important data that helps us when we're making our pick list and all that fun stuff. And so I was one of those students who was, you know, training to be one of those scouts in the stand, sitting there for long hours, taking out all the data. And then aside from that, I also helped with some brainstorming of design ideas, which usually happens during January when we have the game and we're designing ideas for our robot with Ty. And then one other task I did, anything that Tyler wanted. So that could be cleaning up the machine shop if he wanted us to, or if Mr. Hunter, you know, wanted us to take out the tables to set up food. And so I think what helped me on the team as a new student was just talking to senior members and setting goals and helping with small tasks. If you have ever heard Mr. Hunter say this, which he probably has in one of his meetings, he tells you to basically take a senior member and hold them by their shirt and not let them go, which is like the best advice that I got because I literally did that. I became really good friends with a senior member named Sarah, and I literally held on to her and I'd ask her all these questions about what she was going to do after university, how she became a senior member on the team and how she made her impact on the team. And so by staying close with her, I really learned a lot of things, and I also learned how to get out of my comfort zone to talk to senior members, which can be intimidating because you can be like, you know, these senior members they have so much experience, and they're so big and tall, you know, in elementary school when you see those grade 8s walking through the hallways and you want to be like them and they're scary, but trust me, none of the senior members are scary. And it's good that you talk to them because eventually they're going to graduate and you guys are going to be the ones filling their shoes. So, finding my place. Obviously, on any FRC team, there's a lot of different roles that you can take. there's chairmans, there's scouting, you can help out with outreaches, you can help out with design, machine shop, you can be part of the drawing team. There's a lot of different things that you can do on the team. And so from like September to December, I used that time to figure out what I really liked. Personally, I would attend to like a bunch of the workshops that we would do. I would talk to senior members about what roles they had. And so I was like, okay, I really like the idea of like doing machine shop and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, maybe that's something that I want to do. And then I also really like the idea of like being part of like the brainstorming of the design. So I was like, okay, then I'm gonna stay after school and I'm gonna help out and help Ty, and other students like brainstorm cool ideas that we can for the robot. And then I also stuck with one senior member, like I said, and I also took initiative. That is one of like the biggest things on any team. You want to take initiative. Because yes, tasks will be handed to you, but it's also up to you to take control and be like, I really want to learn this, so I want you to help teach me this. And you can ask questions. You can be like, hey Ty, how does this part work with this part to make this work? Or you can say, hey Ty, how do you use the lathe? Why do we not make this part, and why does our sponsor make this part? Or you can just, any question that you ask can be really, really helpful because you get to learn more. And it's also taking time to learn because you're not going to learn everything right away. You're going to build skills as you are on the team. Like the first season, no one expects you to be like a professional, tapper in the machine shop. It takes time to build those skills and get better because if you start earlier on, you're going to have time, you're going to have like 3 years to, build upon those skills and get better at it. By the time that you're in your senior year, you're going to be taking those roles and mentoring other students to get those skills as well. So, a little bit about what I did. So, I did the certificate program. So, during my grade 11 year, everything was online, so we had like a virtual season. And so, I created like an online training program with a variety of workshops to give like a taste of a regular season, but like virtually, because I realized that a lot of students joined our team that year, but they didn't know what 2056 was about, and they weren't going to be able to go to like competitions and see what it really feels like to be there, and how it feels to be a part of a team when you're going through all the problem-solving steps and all that stuff. So I developed that to give them, a little bit of insight onto what 2056 is about and the subtopics or like the sub-teams within the team to like help them be more prepared next year when they decide what role they want to take. And then, like I said, I was also the operator. So if none of you guys know what operator means, it basically means that behind the glass, I was manually controlling the robot. I also coached during matches, meaning I would tell the driver where to go, where the balls on the field would be, and I would act as like a second pair of eyes. And then I was also part of the first Canada Youth Council, which is a really, really great opportunity because I got to co-host on First Canada Live. I got to do a bunch of mental health initiatives, and I got to speak with Kids Help Phone to also develop really cool initiatives and bring more awareness to mental health issues. I also got to co-host the Women in STEM panel at our youth conference that we do as First Canada. And I also got to do roundtable talks with the CEO of NGen and RedPath, which are our sponsors for First, which is a really great opportunity because you get to network and you get to meet these industry professionals, and it really helps you connect with other people. And some other cool stuff I did was machine shop, scouting, and some outreaches like Recycling Day, the Waste to Inspire Conference, as well as the 2056 summer camp. You can come in. And the 2056 summer camp, which we ran during the summer, which was basically teaching students from grade 5 to 9 how to program using RoboMind, which is pretty cool. So, opportunities in First. So, a little bit about First, as some of you guys don't know. First is an organization that inspires young students. It helps provide exposure to STEM because you get to experience a lot of cool things like learning how to machining, programming, problem solving, and you also get to learn some key skills like confidence, which is really helpful. And they also run robotics competitions for youth. So they have FLO, which is for ages 4 to 14, FTC, which is ages 12 to 18, and FRC, which is what Team 2056 is a part of, which is just for high school students. So opportunities. So, like I said, the first Canada Youth Council. If you are a high school student and are part of an FTC or FRC team, you can apply to be part of the first Canada Youth Council. The application is typically open during the summer. And so, what are they? So, the first Canada Youth Council is basically just a council of like 12 to 16 students across Canada who help elevate the voices of youth. So they're kind of like the youth, like the voice of the youth in robotics. And you kind of like help create fun and impactful initiatives for them. And you also get to meet industry professionals. Like a cool thing was when I was in Houston for World Champs, I actually got to meet the COO of Embark, who also like gave us a lot of money for winning DCMP, which was really cool because he's a really inspiring person. Because he also started in FRC, and now he's like a $1 billion company. But it's a really cool opportunity, and it also just like helps you like get out of your comfort zone and just like develop a lot of cool skills, like communication skills, which are really important when you also go into like the work field, because you have to be able to communicate your ideas, and you have to be able to be confident to talk to other people as well. And some skills that you can learn are like building industrial-sized robots in FRC, machine shop, like I said, programming. You also get to apply yourself. So you get to take the knowledge that you learn in your classroom, and you also get to take the knowledge that you learn within the team itself, and you get to apply it to learn more stuff. Like you can take like whatever you learned in like grade 12 calculus, for example, right? And you can use that and you can apply it to try to solve some equations for programming the robot and make some functions for it. But it's really cool because you can have all this knowledge to become an engineer or to go into anything. You can be really good at math, you can be really good at science, but until you apply yourself, you're not really gonna know how to like succeed at something. And you have to be able to apply your knowledge to really know if you understand it as well. That's what I agree. That's what I think, at least personally. You also get to learn problem solving, which is a really important skill in your everyday life, but also in like, school. And it really helps you learn how to make better decisions and obviously like solving problems. And there's also communication skills, which you can develop through like being part of chairmans and doing outreaches. And some really cool awards for those are like Dean's List, which is basically just each team nominates students in grade 10 to 11. And so they get interviewed by a bunch of judges, and then these students are people who are kind of like embody the core values of FIRST and have done a lot on their team and their community. And so there's Dean's List. There's also scholarships that you can win, like the Women in STEM Scholarship, which is about $15,000. There's also the Don Body Leadership Scholarship as well. And there's also the IRI Scholarship, which is from an off-season event that I won. And again, having a bunch of like awards like Dean's List also looks really, really good on your university applications for those of you, who are looking to apply to universities as well. So, how can you make an impact? So for students, ask questions. You are not going to learn anything until you take the initiative to ask questions. Because by asking questions, you're going to learn more. If you don't ask questions, if you're confused about something, you're never going to learn what the answer to that is. And you also have to find tasks to do yourself. Nobody's going to come and tell you what to do, because that's unrealistic, as you think that if you come into like build season, everybody's busy, everybody's trying to do the work, everybody's trying to get the robot done and get all like the technical stuff done, the paperwork done. So nobody's gonna tell you what to do all the time. And so you have to find a task to do, and no task is too big or too small. You can literally take a vacuum and start vacuuming the field while somebody else is building a robot to make sure that the field is clean when we're driving the robot. You can help, set up tables for food. You can help in the machine shop. You can help clean up the machine shop as well. And you also have to find your interests. You might find out during your first season, I really want to be part of chairman, this is the only thing I want to do. That's good if you know that, but some students might not know because they're too nervous to explore those ventures. So it's completely okay for your first season for you to be helping out in every different aspect, because you get to learn more about the team itself, about FIRST itself, but also about yourself and what you want to do. And again, you can tag along with a senior member and stick with them to develop their skills and, basically just get mentored by them and learn how they became a senior member, what they did on the team, and kind of like almost take that and shape yourself into a person with your own interests. And you also have to take every opportunity handed to you. So volunteer, go to STEMly and volunteer, help out with any outreaches that we do, help out with other team outreaches. Like a lot of my friends, they would go and help out other robotics teams with their outreaches, which was a really good opportunity because you get to meet people as well. And if you take every opportunity, you just get more exposure and you also just get to learn a lot more. And it's also cool to like just do something new. If you are like dead set on engineering, like all the engineering aspects of like, our team, like doing the mechanical stuff, the electrical stuff, like that's cool. But also try maybe doing some outreaches because those can be a lot of fun and you can, also get some you can also meet a lot of cool people through that too. And lastly, don't play video games in Mr. Hunter's room. Like seriously, don't do it. Take the opportunity to just go out and just like, learn something and just like, even just sitting there and watching like Ty build parts and just asking questions can help you learn so much about the team as well. And finally, for parents and guardians, you can do a lot of things for the team and in first. You can help build a field. A lot of times parents will come during our build season and they'll help assemble the field, which is really helpful because you have more hands on deck. You can provide food because obviously we are here for long hours of the day and we need food to basically just process what we're doing and just like keep at it. And you can also just like support the team, share our outreach things with other people. Like when we have our recycling day events, share that with like, your friends and your family and tell them to come out and bring us, their e-waste. And you can also just ask like your children like what's going on in the team and just stay in the loop. And you can also sign up for like, the Remind app, the MailChimp, and just stay up to date. And you can also volunteer at events. Last year, I know that a lot of people, especially from other teams, there was restrictions of like how many people can go to competitions. There was only like 15 people on a team allowed to go to competitions, including like parents, students, mentors. So that really narrows it down to who can come. So if you really, really want to support your child or just like support the initiative itself, you can just volunteer at events and just go there and you can help with like fields reset, welcoming, you can help out at other first events, and you can also just help out with Team 2056 outreaches as well. So, that is the end of my presentation. Do we have any questions? Yeah.
When it comes to outreach, do you have any knowledge you can impart onto us? Because just recently we divided our robotics club team into different parts, and the partnerships substance rather small, and I wouldn't say we don't have that much experience, so do we have anything to give them?
Like about outreaches in general?
Yeah. Like how to approach people, not approach, but like what to say, what to talk about. Okay.
Yeah. So when I was on the team, and I used to talk to like a lot of sponsors because I would, try to get some sponsors for the team, whether that be me going to a bakery across the street to ask them to give us pizza for one night while we built the robot. The best way to approach that is just go up to them and be like, hey, my name is, Inshika. Well, obviously you won't say that, but I will say that. And then you would just say that I'm on 2056, you can say I'm in grade 9, 10, 11, or 12. And then you can say you can give them a little gist about what Team 2056 is about. You can say, we're a group of students, who build really cool robots, and we compete, but we also just need funding because a lot of us are just spending a lot of time. This is our passion, This is what we love doing, and we want you to support us. So you can talk about first. Also, and you can talk about the impact it's made on you as well, You can say I really want you to sponsor us because, this means a lot to me, This has helped me find who I am, this has helped me find what I really like to do. And honestly, if there's other outreaches that you want to do within the team, just figure out what you think would be most valuable to the team. Like when I made the certificate program, we didn't have that before, like my grade 11 year. And I made that because I realized we're gonna have a lot of students on the team who have never experienced like a full season. Like personally, like I never had a full experience in grade 10. I didn't get to go to competitions before. Other students are freshmen, like they've never even like seen the inside of the school yet. So, and there's other students who have been on the team for 2 years, or they have been on the team for 1 year, and they have experienced competitions. And because of like that kind of like gap of knowledge, I decided to build a certificate program where there's workshops about scouting, mechanical, electrical, designing, programming, chairmans, outreaches, marketing, and like we had it so that you would have to take a bunch of like mandatory workshops to learn more about 2056 first. And there's also elective workshops which promoted students to go to workshops that they thought were interesting to them. So like some students went to chairmans, some went to like scouting, some went to like outreaches just to learn more about what they wanted to do. And I felt like that had a really good it was a good way to start our next season because a lot of the students they knew a little bit more about each sub team almost. So they knew kind of what they were getting themselves into and they knew what they wanted to do. So that helped them out a lot as well. So I guess in terms of outreaches, it's depending on what it is, try to think about what can benefit the team and what might benefit you and what do you think would help you if you were on the team and you needed what initiatives would have helped you. And you can talk to other people as well and you can be like, hey, what do you think that we should do? Do you think we should have a fundraiser where we raise money by, selling donuts, for example? And you can also just talk to Mr. Hunter. You can be like, hey, I think this would be a really cool outreach to do, and I'm not sure how to go about it. And he can always help you out as well. And you can talk to senior members too. That's my basic gist. Any more questions? It doesn't have to be anything related to this. It can be, anything related outside of first as well.
Do you have any advice for someone on their first year of youth council?
The first year of youth council? Are you in the youth council? Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. Congratulations. The first kind of youth council, it's going to start off a bit slow. You're going to, meet new people. It's going to be an interesting start. And then you are going to want to be a part of everything. But unless you can handle the workload, don't do it. It's okay. I personally helped out with mental health initiatives and doing roundtable talks. Those are my two main things that I really like doing. So I would create posters and I would have a month dedicated where I would create all the posters for the mental health initiatives. And then I would lead the roundtable talks where we had conferences kind of, and we interviewed our sponsors. So, and I'm not saying don't help out in every aspect. If you really want to help out with the magazine, join one of the meetings and be like, hey, I really want to help out with this task, and you can join it. If you really want to help out with one of the mental health initiatives, you can join it and do it. But it can definitely be a lot to keep up with, and just know that it is totally okay to miss a meeting. I can assure you that everybody on the youth council understands that you're going to be busy, and you're not going to be able to attend every meeting, and so just communicate how you feel with them, and it'll be a really cool experience. You're going to meet a lot of cool people. And you had a question, right?
No, she asked me.
Oh, okay. Any other questions? No? All right. Thank you so much for coming to my workshop.